5 famous celebrities who gave up on having kids. 1. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey had a stressed and traumatic childhood. She was sexually abused by male relatives and family friends when she was just 12 years old. Due to family pressure and abuse, she ran away from home and became pregnant with her first child at the age of 14. Tragically, her son died shortly after birth in 1968. Although she was still young, the death of her son broke her heart, leaving her in constant pain and anger. However, in 1986, Oprah met the love of her life, Stedman Graham, and they began dating shortly afterwards. They got engaged in 1992, but they never went through with the wedding. Oprah Winfrey has been open about her decision not to have kids, saying she wouldn't have been able to be the kind of mother children deserves, mainly because of her past sexual abuse trauma and career ambitions. 2. Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken and his wife Georgian Walken once had passion of having their own kids, but they lost hope after 56 years of marriage. They met in 1963, while on the West Side Story tour. At the time, Christopher Walken was 20 years old, and Georgian was 19. Their connection was instant, a spark that turned into love, so they began dating shortly afterwards. They got married in January 1969. After few years of marriage, the thought of not having their own kids left them in despair, pain, anger, torment and public scrutiny. Although they were declared physically fit by medical experts, their longing for a child left them desperate and in total anguish. As years goes by, their hopes and dreams of having a child were completely shattered. In interviews, Walken credits not having kids as a chance to focus on his career. However, behind closed doors, he strongly resents God for not granting him a kid. 3. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves gave up on having kids after the tragedy of his first child. Reeves and his former partner Jennifer Syme met at a promotional event party in 1998. The spark between them was instant. They quickly fell in love and began dating shortly afterwards. Their romantic encounter soon blossomed into a relationship. Few months later, Jennifer became pregnant with their first child, a little girl they planned to name Ava Archer. However, tragedy struck. 8 months into the pregnancy, Ava was stillborn on December 24, 1999. The joy they had imagined was replaced with unimaginable grief, causing them pain, anxiety, anger, and anguish. The heartbreak put a heavy strain on their relationship, and they eventually drifted apart, ending their relationship on January 2000. Few months later, Jennifer Syme sadly passed away in a car accident on April 2, 2001. After losing both his daughter and the woman he loved, Keanu quietly accepted that fatherhood might never be part of his life. In interviews he said, "I don't see myself having children, not because I don't want them, but because some wounds never truly heal." 4. Dolly Parton. Dolly have always fantasized about having her own kids during her teenage days, but a medical condition crushed her hopes and dreams. Dolly Parton and Carl Dean met in 1964. Outside a laundromat, and they began dating shortly afterwards. Few years later, they got married on May 30, 1966. However, what should have been a happy union soon became tumultuous, a story of caution and pain. In the early 1980s, Dolly was diagnosed with endometriosis, a condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it, causing her severe pain, irregular bleeding, plus infertility. Tragically, she underwent a partial hysterectomy, a procedure that involves removal of her uterus and part of her reproductive organs. After the surgery, all her hopes of having kids was gone. Her tears soon became pain, agony, and torment, as she was no longer able to have children. 5. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo have indeed lived extravagantly over the years. The once teenage heartthrob and Titanic mega-star, known infamously for dating women under the age of 24. Yet, behind the glitz, one thing has remained constant: his refusal to settle down. Leonardo has never shown interest in starting a family of his own. Instead, he's poured his heart into acting and his fight for the planet. In interviews, he's confessed that fatherhood isn't part of his plans, choosing instead to dedicate his time, energy, and passion to building his career and protecting the environment, a path that many admire, but one that also leaves fans wondering what he might be sacrificing in the process.